Well, good day. Today we are here to look at 25 tips to get more from your content marketing. Content marketing today is really about having something for people to find, to ask for, to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested. I'm Brad Sugars. I'm the author of the book, Raise Your Hand Marketing, and also the chairman and founder of Action Coach Business Coaching. So let's get straight into the subject, I guess, and start understanding how it works. First 5 areas I want to look at are really areas around your target audience. Number 1 is the demographics, okay? So understanding the characteristics of age, gender, etc., that define your target audience. Now, the challenge for a lot of people is that they don't get in tight enough around this. They're way too broad. They think, well, I want to have this massive group, people age 45 to 65, people that are, no, what we want to do in content is get tighter and tighter. So I'll use an example for us at Action Coach. I don't just want a book like an ebook of the so save this example, 25 ways to do your content marketing. I will repurpose this ebook into 25 ways to do content marketing for tradespeople, 25 ways to do content marketing for medical businesses. Does that make sense? So I'll break it down into different groups. Then you want to look second point, you want to look at the psychographics. So meaning, what is the reason behind this thing? So values, attitudes, lifestyle, and your content will resonate with that person's thinking. So for example, again, I'll just stay with using my business as an example as much as I can, because I think you can understand what it is we do, and therefore you can translate that into your own business. Because it doesn't matter whether you're in a retail business, a service-based business, a manufacturing, wholesale, whatever it is, these strategies apply. Because even for content, if you're in a manufacturing business, you still need articles for people to learn how to buy. You still need the content. So if an example, let's say I have a business owner who I get into the mindset of the business owner and I start thinking about the problems that they're facing, then I can get into the psychographics of that person. And maybe the challenge that they're facing now is finding good people. So I get into that way of thinking. What's their attitude around hiring good people, keeping good people type thing? And I use that to create some content. Third thing that I want to look at is the personas of my buyers. So buyer persona, okay? So fictional representations of your ideal customer. You might even get to a point where, if you go to using AI today, you can go and start typing in some words that describe your buyer and start looking at images type thing that come up and even wait, and if the image doesn't look like the type of person you want as your buyer, put other words in or change words or edit words that will then describe the buyer and like print it out, even give them a name and tell me a bit about that person so that you've got a real idea of who it is you're writing the content for, whether it's an email, a blog post. I like having, and I literally write for 2 different personas when I'm writing. One is an older business person named John, and I actually have a picture on my desk of John, and the younger person that I have who female, younger business owner. John has multiple employees in his business, and when I look at Abby, who's the younger person that I write to, it's a different way of writing. So different style for different types. Fourth point is identify the pain points that your customer base is facing. So what are the challenges that you can offer solutions to? Oftentimes when you identify the top 4, 5, 10 challenges, and if you're struggling, again, you can use AI to give you some ideas to at least spark. I don't want AI writing your content, but I definitely would use AI to spark ideas for your content, if that makes sense. In fact, I'll contradict myself. There are some areas that we'll get to in a moment where I will use AI to write parts of the content for me. And then fifth point in identifying your target audience is use of language. So you want to look at your target audience's communication style. Now, you can today, using software online, match the age limit of your marketing pieces. Now, it's said you don't want to be writing any higher than a fifth grade reading level. And not because people can't read above a fifth grade, but because the ease of reading at that level. But also, you want to be using languaging that is appropriate for them. So, again, going back to demographics, psychographics, buyer personas, if I'm writing to Abby, younger female business owner, I'm writing different languaging than I am if I'm writing to John, my older business owner with multiple employees, sort of thing. So just different languaging, different styles of languaging that you're going to be using for them. Okay, so that's target audience. Second, we're going to start optimizing for search engines. Now, when we get into the search engines, one of the things that we're going to be doing is understanding, and again, there's so many different ways that we can understand that. And this is point 6, doing your keyword research, long tail keyword research, as well as single word keyword research. The keyword research that you can do today is so easily found between Ahrefs, SEMrush, Google Analytics, Answer the Public. There's so much available for you today that can give you the knowledge that you need. But then you can also go to, when you go on Google and you type something in, it says people also ask. Well, that gives you another whole series of long tail questions that you can be using for your keyword research. Okay, so it gives you a lot of things that you want added into your content. Again, whether it's a blog article, whether it is an article, whether it's an email, whatever it is, we want to be thinking about what is being searched nowadays, especially if we're doing posts on our LinkedIn, especially if we're doing things that will be in any way, shape, or form searchable, like describing our YouTube video, the headline of your YouTube video. These things are important when we're actually naming the YouTube video, so we've got to make sure that's a part of it. Next point, on-page optimization. So your meta descriptions, headers, tags, keywords in your titles, even your photographs, all of those sorts of things. It's really important that we actually take the time, energy, and effort to audit the site. I mean, most sites, and let's be blunt, in today's world with toxic backlinks, and I know that Google's saying they're going to remove that. I'm not sure when or where that's going to happen based on today's filming date. But if we take a look at the way the world is today, we kind of need to be auditing our sites on at least a monthly basis, sometimes even weekly, just to make sure that we're not getting negative things happening on our site, link breakages, et cetera, that comes up. And it does happen. But that being said, actually taking the time, energy, and effort to do the descriptions, the meta descriptions, and putting that energy and effort, but not beating yourself, making sure that you are balancing the site and doing enough of that. Point number 8 is content quality. Look, the days of the 300-word blog article are gone. The days today of the 1,500, 1,800-word minimum blog article are here. A blog article with multiple photographs, a blog article with at least one infographic, links to at least one video, similar to what I'm doing right here with you. The videos need to be created. Well-researched content with links to other information, because, if you're linking out, then it's obviously you've done your work and you're creating a higher quality content, which is what Google is looking for in what you're doing. And then I think that's really an important aspect of what we're doing. So valuable content, engaging content, not just content for the sake of content. I remember back when you could go to a content farm and literally have 50 articles written for, $500 or some amount of money. But no, it's got to be quality today over quantity. Quality over quantity. You still want quantity, I got to say, but it's definitely the high value, high quality has got to be there. And again, that's why we don't want AI writing our stuff for us, because it's immediately picked up and it's immediately flagged, and that just isn't what it is. Number 9 is we've got to look at our link building. The best way for link building is obviously to be putting articles and information on other websites. I love PR from that perspective, publicity. You can use PR engines, obviously, is a big way for it. The old marketing axiom of the medium is the message. If I write an article and I put it on actioncoach.com, it's great. But if I write the same article and I put it on Forbes.com or wallstreet.com, obviously the article is picked up far heavier and spread far wider because of where it was placed. So getting your messages on very high ranking sites and having it pushed back to yours. So appearing on podcasts, appearing on interviews, and linking back to your pages, articles, etc., is important. Having your social media link back to it. All of those things improves visibility, but authoritative websites linking back to you is very important. Always has been. I'm pretty sure it always will be. But that's the next part. Point number 10, mobile optimization. I shouldn't really have to say that at this stage of the game, but your website has to be mobile because about 70% of traffic and climbing is on mobile today. So make sure that's there. All right. Let's go to the next 5. So point number 11. The next 5 is about different formats of content. Okay. What variety of content are you using? So point number 11 is use different content based on audience preference. Okay. So cater to different consumption styles. So for example, you're watching this video, other people have downloaded the ebook, other people have read the blog article. It's different styles for different people. Some people are listening to this on the audio podcast version. Everyone is different, and therefore you've got to create it in different methodologies. Some people literally just read the infographic of the 25 points, and that's all they needed or wanted or desired. 12, purpose of the content. So choose your formats based on your goal. Okay. So for example, if I'm using something as a marketing piece, I will probably use an ebook so that it's seen as a valuable piece. So people will give me their name, email, phone number to download the ebook, if that makes sense, or name and email to get it emailed to them, the link, that type of thing. Or I might use a webinar. So instead of doing this as a video like I'm doing it to you today, I could do a webinar of the 25 tips to get your best of content marketing, so that it's a live event and I get you to give me your email that way by attending a live webinar, because I might have a live event where I'm going to sell something. So you can see how based on the different goals, we can have different formats of using or different content types doing that. Point 13, look at different distribution channels and platforms so that you can, again, look at different types. Let's use an example of, say, Pinterest. Pinterest, we'd want a lot more infographics. So where infographics is not really massive over on, say, TikTok, infographics work really well on Pinterest. Whereas, say, on TikTok, we might take an infographic and break it down into a reel that splashes the same information up. So we're breaking it into different formats for different places that we're going to be putting the content. Okay. Same content, exact same material, but just done in different formats because different channels need it in different ways. That same infographic might be 10 things to do. On Instagram, that might be a carousel of 10 different photographs. So someone scrolls through all 10. Number 14, branding and tone of voice. Doesn't matter what you do, keep consistent branding. The look and feel should be across all different platforms. It's hard. Yes, it takes extra work because when someone goes into Instagram, they're going to want to, put an Insta music or Insta background and do it. No, you want it to have the same look, feel, branding across the things. You need a consistent branding across all of them. Number 15, analytics and measurement. It doesn't matter which format you're using, you want to know what's happening. Personally, I love HubSpot because not only does it give us our web analytics, it gives us all of our social analytics. It doesn't matter where you're using your content, you want analytics of it. How many minutes is someone staying on it? Are they reading that full article? Are they scrolling down? Where are you losing them on that page? If they downloaded the ebook, if they didn't download, if they downloaded it and you've got offers in the ebooks or links built into the ebooks, were they clicked on? How many times? What happened? That data and that data mining is a big part of your CMO or your chief data officer's job in the business. All right, now let's move on to point 16. The next section is about promoting your content. So what are we doing with content? We're creating content to, I guess, test and measure. All right. So if you think of it this way, right? Social media is a way for us to see what gets a result, what gets some form of a result out there in the marketplace, what gets some form of a hand raised, an idea, a like, a comment, a share, what gets impact, what gets engagement out there. Now, if I put up a post and I notice that it's getting massive engagement, okay, it's getting 100% better engagement than anything else I do, then now I know what I want to promote. So let's look at this. Point 16, your target audience. So once we look at promotion of that content, we go back to target audience of the content. We want to narrow it down. Whether we're doing follow me advertising, meaning, okay, someone's been on there, whether we're doing 1% advertising, where we're doing lookalike marketing, whatever it is we're doing, we want to get targeted very well. And every time I go into someone's Facebook or Meta advertising or Google advertising and they tell me it's not working, the first thing I do is look at their targeting. And the majority of the time, their targeting is where we find the biggest mistakes. So if we get good, solid targeting, then we will make sure that we're actually getting the good, solid response. Second, we got to look at timing. Okay, so we want to be at a timing where we're going to reach our target audience where they're most likely to respond. So think about content that is going out into the marketplace. Okay, think about what it is that someone is searching for. Do I want to be advertising my content up in Black Friday week against all of the massive advertising of Amazon and Walmart? And no, I don't want to be going up against those guys when they're hitting it massively. I want to be looking for the windows in the market when it's a good timing where I'll be able to advertise and get it at a decent rate. I don't want to be timing it against other massive advertisers and doing those sorts of things. So it's important to time it and time it well. Headlines. Now, I love testing headlines. The majority of times we test headlines They basically look like a Jeopardy screen. If you've never seen Jeopardy, it's basically a blue background with yellow writing, and we'll test 12 headlines. We'll put $30 against each of them, and we'll look at a click-through rate of and a um, and we'll basically look at what's the click-through rate on each of these. We're wanting to hit a 2.5%. We're wanting to hit, sorry, and so we're testing. We'll never go with an ad that we haven't tested headlines. It's just a waste of money. So testing for $360 prior to running a headline is dang cheap relative to going and spending thousands on something and not doing it, and it not performing. So that's a really important part of getting it. Now, the next part of that, once we've proven the headline and we've done that, then we look at collaborative and whether the collaboration is with just one other person who may have appeared in the marketing piece or in the interview, or whether it's collaborating with influencers, or whether it is getting on an affiliate site and teaming up with other affiliates, which I think is way underutilized in this day and age. There are so many great affiliates out there waiting to promote your material that you just need to have an affiliate offer and an affiliate system to be able to do that. Finally, point 20, so 16, target the right audience. 17, make sure you're at the right timing in the cycle. 18, test all of those headlines to promote your content. If I'm giving away an ebook, I want to promote it. It kills me that, I'll give you an example. I was chatting with someone about their podcast a few weeks ago, and they're like, but Brad, we're doing this amazing podcast and we just don't seem to be getting any listeners. I said, great, let me look at it. And I looked at their podcast, and they were doing a good podcast. Some of them things had to tweak, and they were only small things, minor things. I said, well, great. How much advertising have you done of your podcast? And guess what their answer was? Well, we haven't done any. I said, well, how do you expect people to have found it if you haven't advertised it? You've got to advertise if you're doing something great. So if you're offering a piece of great content, you need to advertise it if you want the world to know about it. And it's a two-step sale. So collaboration, number 19. Number 20, repurpose and reuse. Keep adapting the content, keep changing it, reusing it, maybe even take it over to mainstream media, radio ads, TV advertising. TV advertising today is so much easier than it ever was before, especially when you can get on like Paramount or Hulu or any of these digital platforms and have digital ads up and running very, very quickly. Production on those is very simple, just to test and measure. So repurpose and reuse the content. If you know it's working, do that very well. All right, the final 5 points all relate to your call to action, okay? So point number 21, must have very clear and specific call to action. It's got to be clear and actionable. Tell me exactly what to do. If it's an email marketing piece, hit reply with the word headline, and I'll send you my 25 points. Tell me exactly what to do. Don't ever in an email, by the way, use the word click here, because that gets you a negative score in email world, okay? So we don't want to do that. But you want to test different call to actions, okay? Next, position the call to action prominently. You want it early, you want it often, especially if it's on like a landing page, if it's on a Facebook thing. You want to use the Facebook buttons, okay? You definitely want to use those on Meta. They work, they're there. You need to use them and have that stuff. It's got to be visual. You want to use it like a button that they're used to clicking. If you go on Google, what color are the buttons? Well, they've trained you to click those blue buttons. Make sure you use them. You want that call to action at the right moment. Now, if let's say I'm doing a video ad, and let's say I'm doing a YouTube video ad, my video ad still wants to ask them to take action 30 seconds in, 60 seconds in, and at the call to action time at the 1:30, the finish of it. My YouTube ad is 30 seconds of hook, 30 seconds of teaching, and 30 seconds of call to action type thing. Number 24, optimization of your offers. You got to test them and you got to optimize them. Different versions of call now, do this, book a call, book your call, click this button. There's so many ways to just test it. And having 3 different offers, 2 different offers, every target audience is different. I want you to keep testing, keep testing, keep testing, add more. And finally, tailoring your call to actions. So, for example, if let's say someone's already been to my website and I'm now running ads back to them, even more so. Let's imagine someone's been to my website and they've been looking up testimonials. Now, because our website's built on HubSpot, I can see that. So I can see that you've seen 7 testimonials. I could now run a video ad to you saying, hey, you know what? I look at a lot of testimonials too when I'm thinking of buying. I've got a lot more of them for you. If you want to book a call, I can actually suggest a couple of people for you to chat with so you can get a real experience of what it's like to work with us here at Action Coach and learn all about how coaching can help you in your business. See, I can run ads that are that personalized, that the level of call to action can be at that level in this digital world. Hey, I hope this has got you thinking about making great content to get out there to get people to raise their hand to say, hey, I'm interested, and then raise their hand a second time to say, hey, I'm ready. I'm Brad Sugars. If you've been watching this video, hopefully you're already working with an action coach. If not, reach out, book a call, or jump in and have a coffee chat with one of the team. We'd love to get together with you. Remember, the first 2 weeks coaching with us is complimentary. We do it pro bono so that we can see if the relationship works. If the relationship works, we know we can help you grow your business. We'd love to have that chat with you soon. So dive in, find a coach near you on our website, actioncoach.com, or reach out and book a call with the coach who sent you this material. Bye for now.